So tell me what kind of crimes, well, obviously you're in auto crime, but when I talked to Stiasny, he said, you guys cover everything. Basically, auto crime is you guys are into everything. So what are you in particular covering?
I did search warrants. I would pick off the garden variety car thieves, the pains in the asses. I worked on shipping cases with guys shipping stolen cars out of the country, guys changing VIN numbers on cars for resale. I got a couple of stories where we were hooked in with different dealerships because directors of security would call us when there was a problem. So late in my career, I get a phone call from the director of security for Mercedes Benz. And he says, I've got a mystery and I don't know what it is. I go, well, what is it? He goes, a guy brings a car in for something, this Mercedes, high end. And he says, we plug it into the computer and it says that this car was manufactured to be in France. So they call Deutschland and they say, that car, it's amazing how Germans keep records. They go, in Germany, they say, yes, that car was manufactured to be in France, but it was taken in a home invasion. I said, you got to be kidding me. He goes, I don't know what to make of this. I go, well, give me the plate. So I run the plate, nothing. I run the plate, 50 states, nothing. So either they got the wrong plate or it was a temporary. And I said, you got this guy's information? He goes, yeah. I go, can you lure him back? Tell him you give him a free air freshener. He goes, yeah, I'll get him back in here. Gives me the plate. So my partner and I, a couple of days later, get up bright and early. And in Manhattan, there's no parking. So the cars line up along the dealership to go in first thing in the morning. So we're sitting on West 50 something street and I see the car and it's diplomatic plates. Now that changes things because we're not supposed to screw around with diplomats because they have a diplomatic community. So I watch the car go into the dealership. My partner and I get out. We're watching this guy. And the guy looked like the drummer for U2, that Adam Clayton. Like he had the rim glasses with the skinny jeans, weighed 145 pounds. He's like in his late 40s, early 50s with this hot chick in a chinchilla coat, and she looks like she's going to give birth in 15 minutes. And they're perusing around. You could tell it's money. She wouldn't be with them otherwise. And they leave. So I go to the car. I write down everything, and I says, listen, I can't just take this car. I said, I got to make some phone calls. But now I have his information. I got everything, right? So I call up the State Department. And they go, I says, I'm going to steal this car. I can't lock him up. I can't really question him, but I'm going to steal his car. And they go, no, please don't do that. They go, we're going to work on this. Give us some time. We'll try to get the diplomat that has this car in. I said, all right. So in the meantime, this is after 9/11. So the NYPD had detectives in other countries working on terrorism, gathering intelligence. So we had a sergeant working in France. So now I'm working with a time zone thing and the one phone in our office that can dial international. I get this to the sergeant in France and I says, listen, this is what I need from you. Get a police report and find out, is this thing really stolen? If it is, find out through the insurance company, does the insurance company own this car or who owns this car now? Does the insurance company want it back? What's the story with this? I said, okay. He gets back to me a week or two later. He goes, it's stolen. It was taken in a home invasion in France like 2-3 years ago, and it vanished. I find out through the State Department, to follow this, the car's stolen in France. The car was shipped into the United States in an international shipping container from a country in Africa called Cote d'Ivoire. How the car in France wound up in Cote d'Ivoire, we'll never know. Cote d'Ivoire is a volatile place. It was shipped in an international shipping container from the country of Vanuatu, which is an island in the South Pacific where they did a Survivor episode. The diplomat from Vanuatu is married to a British citizen. So I go to meet the guy with the State Department. He shows me a picture of the female diplomat, and I go, that's not the woman I saw in the car dealership, but that's the guy. That's her husband. I go, does he have diplomatic immunity? Because I wanted to lock his ass up. He goes, because he does. You can't lock him up. So I says, well, what are we going to do? He says, there's like 2 diplomats from Vanuatu. He goes, chances are she's not going to want to lose her gig. He goes, I'm going to call her up. I'm going to explain to her. He goes, chances are she's just going to hand you the car. I said, like that? He goes, like that. Because probably they're going to mess with her. So we set up a meeting. I show up at the State Department. This female diplomat is there. Couldn't have been nicer. Hands me the keys. I asked her about a husband. Conveniently, he was out of the country on business. She doesn't really know how he acquired the car. This has to be a big mistake. She's so sorry. Gives me the keys. No questions asked. Like, if I was taking your $80,000 Mercedes, you're like, do I get a receipt? Like, take it.
Yeah.
So I asked this guy from the state. I go, that's it? He goes, you got the car back, right? I said, okay. So I think nothing of it. Car goes to the pound. The insurance company takes it within a couple of days. It goes back in the shipping container, goes to France. I think nothing of it. I don't know, weeks or months pass. And one of the detectives in my office, who's a smart ass, goes, Vic, there's some guy on the phone with an English accent. And he goes, he's cursing you up and down about some car you've recovered. He goes, he's going to sue you, all this shit. I said, put him on the phone, right? Pick up, and he said, I was out of the country. You had no right to seize our car and our property and blah, 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 blah. What it is the wife probably asked him, what's going on with this car? He's pounding his chest now in front of her. So I let him talk. I go, you know what I noticed? That the woman in the car dealership with you, the pregnant one, you know who I'm talking about, right? The one with the chinchilla coat. That's not the diplomat wife of yours. Okay, detective, take care. And he got off the phone. Never heard from him again. Never heard another thing.
Oh my gosh, that's a great story.